All right, so we're going to look at example G, parts A and B. So parts A and B will actually take us through the 4 steps of that was discussed on the previous slide, and what you'll find in the green rectangle on the top of page 224 in your textbook. Same thing. And so let's take a look at part A. So part A asks us, how much will the insurance company pay the insured? If you look at the 4 steps in the previous slide, you'll notice that step 3 is actually addressing how much will the insurance company pay the insured. So we must actually do steps 1 through 3 in order to be able to answer step 3. So we're going to start at step 1, which is determining, is to compute the amount the insurance is required. The insurance required is determined by taking the value of the building, which is 400,000, and multiply it by the coinsurance. The coinsurance is 80%. So in decimal form, that's 0.8, which comes out to $320,000. So this is the insurance required. And you'll notice in step 2 that the insurance required is on the denominator of that formula that you're dealing with. So we have $320,000 on the denominator, on the bottom of the fraction. So the numerator amount is the amount that the policy amount, how much it's insured for. And you will notice in the problem that it's $200,000. So the amount that you'll see on the numerator, or the amount the policy is for, can be as much as the insurance required. So in other words, the value on the numerator can never exceed the value on the denominator. So in this case, we have 200,000, but we can actually have a policy up to 80% of the value of the house, or whatever the coinsurance is times the value of the house. So so this fraction can actually be 1. In this case, it's less than 1, this fraction. And then we multiply by $100,000, the amount of the loss. So the damage is $100,000. So we're going to take that and multiply it. So this represents how much the insurance company is covering. The insurance company pays up to, so it will pay the amount of the damage, but only a certain proportion of it, based on the policy amount and the insurance required. So it's covering this fraction, 200,000 divided by 320,000 times 100,000. So then you multiply by 100,000, you get 62,500. So it's not covering everything. Oh, whoops, extra 0. So it's actually, if you figure it out, it's covering 62.5% of the damage, which is this fraction. 200,000 divided by 320,000 is 62.5%. So it could actually be covered up to 100% if our policy, our amount that we're insured for, is 320,000. But in this case, it's only 200,000, so it's not covering everything. So the insurance company isn't covering everything. It is just covering 62,500. So that takes us into part B, which is step 4. And then we see that we want to determine how much the owner pays, which is step 4 in the previous slide, or in that green rectangle. So if there's $100,000 of damage, how much is the owner going to pay? Well, it's the difference between 100,000 and the amount the insurance is going to pay. So the insurance is paying 62,500. So that leaves 37,500 that the owner is going to pay. So those are the 4 steps that was discussed in the previous slide. And this is the process you go through to determine your result. Now, in step 3, of the previous slide, you'll notice that there's section A and B, and depending on what circumstance you have, so this is the circumstance where the the recovery um, the recovery amount is actually less than the damage, and the is less than the policy. Sorry. So we're actually in part B. So the insurance company pays the recovery amount. So we noticed that the insurance company covered all of this. It covered all of the amount. It could be possible that it may cover less. It may not cover all of this calculation. There's a maximum amount, which is the policy amount. It could only cover up to $200,000. And that's what we're going to see in steps, in parts C, D, and E in the next video. All right, let me know if you have any concerns.